Oy, Manuel Odosong mera, rogula adar ko masabil, tunin mertial, maltukubit sa program ra, Kausischakl, el ngarin el Monday. Usually ka mama, sure ka mga Thursday, di malula ng mama masabil President ra Republic, el mekes ka mama el afternoon. Milo Odosong yung President. Saul ko masabil, out of your busy schedule, kuklot ka mama melo. Tiya nga ngarangklel, House of Fire. Di malhapin mo sa emin ko mem kada share kaum tigel o kya kar mam usually ngatya ka ambes di bus magiblo lo reng awil klangal tangat mo ni understanding ka mam sometimes this week may mas kada ko welcome ringi mo speri rap to kan ngara era afternoon agi mo starter program mam digi diol ni tra president mang ngaregel me so altol kuk me o spero ma me mudadura adar Palau mang mamoregel ra agenda ngi mamrege ka mama amura agenda ka mam mang mamrege ki mora Q&A for the next hour or so sisteme mata dibdeda sila mo balungilo Odosong ya olyong lekor ka
yang waisang balungilo Odosong mal tiagora golta kita blo el abora idong digit tero mal sogal menang asula la angirmang ama Mr. Henry los il joiner
exactly
ilang kita sel blo la sa tangat el blo la kado dios el blo mada blo la mula program kita bang no e close la bang no dire kaltara adangal tangat tangi kada mimok el blo el ngar al sela mit chichungil government so sige the freedom rigid skida tele kada express agel opinion rigid sma da toy el agumra lo hace oigeli tingala Winston Churchill monia monday di at the end of the day a democratic system will come to the best solution and that's the beauty of the system that we have gida balsa da untel tele masus raibudul maraklay marugul belau pilong ebiro klay mar masil Palau present ra Senate Paules marugol senators Speaker House Kanay marugol delegates governors legislators bekla adro olbira gal bekal belu of course associated mora Chief Justice ngira galaw marugol justices cabinet vice president ma cabinet rigid mar bekal other bela mga kamal sokal not bekal other bela ngara hotcherigi ako namur rasaw. Ano nga yan?
Masin yung. Ba't kaya chibo stop mo gito bura o chariki?
Masin, hindi kita, you know, halaktik share tiyal mo na story. Mga kangara, ablura lugi le celebrate the 50th anniversary of gila Prime Minister Marape. Tirgal alada wa Malaysia singa ikaw story ang mengal wal governor Marcel Port Moresby. Mahal mo nga president kada ka mo tingin di gidal kamam la adara manus oy mabelaw amal nga yak close drong alam kasi oy masing nga sira gigor inauguration at tingam la inauguration akmle relatives na mga kamal na mo sa mo sa total relative
hello ka ma'am
oy manggamot tial camera rin me halhalik sige alot de asyasing en kasawal Antir ka raso ako. Eh, kung siya sirati.
Di ba pero sa mamamlos?
Makma ang maway sa tiyat story sa igam de dori trill sailboat to. Edim le wanna return at tilon tilorayolta. Imam sauda makasi adman langgal antina meter way nga say oy dik tila mataway. Itel mataway ang klelo mo al maygal. Tila ka ang clam. Makma say so we are related. Mungil you know iga important part tra history yun mga say I have many relatives in Palau mako. Kami history kami that's
ngakamlom di minsa ka kasi ka buigra manus. Hindi kasi malbuigra highland. Ka buigra island. Tial do you built ka adra pula daw di ka madra. Mas medrul bakul me. Interesting.
So
kamu kadra huiri ping so dan.
Bisa lo musuh amral ngaria 40% amlara di ginil me 60%
Madi en era kam kloring at 28%
kana chakariya
wow
So we are connected.
Yan kaling.
I think that's one of the things كده مع البلاغ عنود المروية مليسي قال ذا الولي كده وسويس أقلطي بالليل كده ملامي تقدر بي اف هذا بلان اللي يرد سيل البوضة هوست رينج كونفرنس next year سيل Pacific Island Forum. Of course كده invite كده host ترجال leaders plus they got the leaders. I get 21 البلو كده dialogue partners اللي بنتري. That means blah. Plus there are other guests, the dialogue partners. So we estimate that next year they're probably at a minimum 1,200.
لا دامي.
may attender say يقدروا دينوا history كده تيال mini games يملا 1,200 estimate and then 2,000. So يقدروا نقول سيقدر عملنا next year. ما قدر ما تبخر كده الجيرال. But one of the things that I brought up, Mr. Nia, say maybe we should have a focus on investment. Tigal partners again they invited till me. Let's talk about private sector investment. So Qura said we should encourage our partners to not only all them grant, but we need to talk about economic development. I'll just share with you last week agimna UAE. I'm invited to UAE for one tell them the will, but more importantly, Ngel current president of IUCN, Klala Razan Mubarak, Nge Asra UAE, and the president of IUCN, I think on a 4-year term, and then she just re-elected for another 4 years. So UAE is a host. I'm like a normal flight and Maran Mora UAE seguid Monday. هي غراملو تيتوغل من دغل ما نو دغل مرو لايغات تيكت رغمام التير ادرا يو اي اوف كورس ات سبونسور جدا ممت بيغات تيكت رغمام نو داي ماس تشاينا ايرلاينز انكس ليغا انت اسي دغا سكوغي او التغرغاو بيكوز انغا قديم لا غودي اكتينم دي سخ بمودو اكملي اندا بلو سينغا لو اونورد كيست تيال اي يو سي ان لو اوبنر تيال كونفرنس سو ذاتس واي تملسن دا سكوغي من التغرام لغم دي ملغا وضوض قبل بلا المويت
دي عن دي هذيك استمر قارسين اللي قال سال وضوض قبل منت بتول كويستشن اميرا تكما ماكسي ماشي نجال فايوليت راكو تو ايثكس او ذا سويم
كده امرو راورير مايسي سو
ويل دي كلير
بارت راورير او تيرا بلور بلا مدام تيرا بلور بلا يخوك مثل واسين أو مول ما respect المرابلور بلاو بتسندر سكوجي الملتاريد المورا ميتين كده ممضدول on behalf را أبلور بلا تيرا بلور هذا مضدولين. So to me it's an opportunity. Unfortunately no last minute no ده قصير الأسكار بتقول هذا التياس بس إلو تقرأ 14 هذا سكوجي فما ديم له 6.
Okay, I'm going to go to Montreal hours or Martia, direct flight.
10 hours. Yeah, so, but one of the things, Diril Sakalo Aisarin and Lamral and Garubak, I'm requirement, I had to be back. Let's say flight Raquantas arrived Saturday afternoon, and I hosted Prime Minister Australia on Velan Tal Sunday while he's here and Giran return on Velan more. So, I am parameters in negative Murtral cell. So they wanted to make sure Akmita Yegi.
Sunday, Prime Minister.
Not Sunday. I think that's the first time Ngara head of state and Ngara Blur Belao. Dilo Rala, I will let choose el Merbelao 1 flight a week. Magigor Belam de Medial Merbelao.
Full martin mom.
Adam, waiting. Because I wanted to respect his privacy. I will talk him spend time with him. Of course,
that's a news.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's for us. That's a record. He was so relaxed. Most beautiful country in the world. You have something special here. And one of the things that we asked them to do, a sponsor said, a direct flight to Brisbane and Melbourne. It's interesting in the media, because mle announce ora say mle makmu egel media tas mle flash the economy class seat a Brisbane and Morbella because he flew up here on economy on private trip. That's it. Hindi tiagit sir bled sponsoring a government Australia flight. Tokora talakla toy, but this is not only for Palau. They've also done it for other countries. But it's an idea. I say it's part of economic development. But I think really what it did is it opened his eyes to see what the potential here is, and I think made him understand even though it's a private trip, moral important that they help us. This is a place Australians would love. In reality, the Australia they love Fiji, Cook Islands, and so we went to Palau. We kayaked with them. We did snorkeling with them, and I think they got at least that sense of you don't need to be a scuba diver to go to Palau. There's so many things to do, and kayaking is amazing. I think that's something that it's an untapped market that really has huge potential. The first time kayak we had the opportunity to run motor. Mal simple lo mius radro albabel di mo khadra klabo ko le wil tol sel dia sel ko tro wil blur al sab lula kada small di speedo lang alak niya de kada wilay sa sette you have to kasi gemral will trainer tigal buing na well you train them so that they can explain really adam mo excited ngal prime minister say di amazed kitian mga lakter babi yase I've never seen so many the plant variety mana gadim sadri namadari galfrana tiang anak malute gal prime minister adi digar tiang kaya kal kadi sige jobesku
that's
lang smodir tial babal moral sera bertakle that's also an art it's something that we need to encourage around. Yeah, and of course, a background being a biologist. So sometimes we think tour guides have to be experts in their fields. They have to be able to share. Club Galel Bela.
President Orelo Bangela Rane, a sebata make me say that guess what? A giblo kayak, Emil Tiga 30 dugong in a group. Akma say that many say yes. Aranak mo sometimes there's 35 of them. Okay, ada to tengah ikan.
Well, ako expert ra dugong orbela run. Hindi selo sa atin so we got to see the dugongs. It is a special team. Mga Prime Minister, of course, Australia is the #1 most dugongs in the world. It we good to learn more about our dugongs. I just sirak na UAE, so I sat beside the Crown Prince of UAE. And then we got into the dugong discussion. Maybe 100 some. Oh, very small population. We have 5,000. Maybe tigadios usual family table mix mesang galbrasan can find out the help increase gene pool improve that's what it's all about. It's about collaborating, finding solutions, working together, and seeing how we can help each other. Just an amazing experience to be able to have Prime Minister share observation so we can do better. Kita menurut masih hari one flight and next, because there is potential there. Share Cook Islands from Brisbane to Cook Islands is 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, Palau to Brisbane are 6 hours. Brisbane is exactly in between. So Cook Islands has over 100,000 Australian tourists. So
they have half the beauty.
Yeah, Cook Islands to me has limited. Bella is out of this world. I mean that's. But we are expensive. Take a question. That's we're a premium market. That's.
Gorengel adel ble help pergi tele tokora taxel Australia. Game der tiama toyek mase. You've been to Cook Islands,
Ngara comparison tiang mahukan masi. No comparison. Palau has more attraction to offer than Cook Islands.
I see. Nakamnamong mo.
O kala dire ka loger tels ko gira Amrigel. Hindi ka tels ko gira UAE am naman takana. Ma private tels ko gira Amrigel. So, di sa sergi bilang nga madiya sen mo marshal di mak-invite ka mo. Katibal tulor.
Kung makaradi ka mo dingi.
Di se government tra Amrigel. So, remember sara luk ngari tel issue gidra pif. Madtop. Ya tara le argument na kan mora tigal adra Australia mar adra Amrigel. Le tiga di insist say get back together. Makasi ka mo maula gidre kal motel mal. Lo daigal telam al adadu. So, se am le instigate tel flight ra kwantas, misel flight ra naurul me. Then through that people to people exchange. Matial skogi luk provider ng Amrigel. Moktaria sa how to bring the leaders together. Sige dagi blaring ra lugile mera belong ang malanda ya continue mo Marshall Islands. But sera temela pif akplanin mora pif mora PNA mora Hawaii it's there for us to use but we have to schedule hindi kasi LD anytime lang sari. Tiro leaders sa Pacific Osperim ngel it's kind of first come. As long as you're going to meet another leader, malubang, and that's what they.
Kahal ko gar, hindi may presidente FSM mo as na kasi. Kahal ko hindi in letter of claim ko pull out ang micronesia na PIF. Ko kami announce to na PIF. Presidente FSM. Os dili ko lim na hip ko. Ikaw ko ngalid to na PIF.
Ang gira tan bre, nakatayo ko pa.
Ako siya.
Ata, sel gira panuelo. Oh, hindi kan. Agim la do mati ako ramle understanding. Well, agim la agree wa say also mang hindi ka lotirak lagi lorul. And we have to do something drastic. Mang same la understanding ari dam. Kadam le got to withdraw eh. We got back together.
Oh, yung mga division between North Pacific and South Pacific.
Yeah.
Tira sorry mla mo hijack at the South Pacific as if they're the entire Pacific. So sometimes we gotta tell them, hey, wait a minute, kama direct adra a Pacific.
Yeah, and I think that's, if anything, after sige the divorce and getting back together, we're better now.
And that's the first time.
Yeah. Lang namori sel, umda sa nawin sel tibulo mo, but not only that, kadam na mo, wa, sel dabra lugilet. Ilang gil Prime Minister lugilet, ngamal friend rin, ngamal ng sel idea kasi nga big brother kami am gikarel yun siya. We help each other. Mo ang sige din mal especially now ngora sa and we need to continue to build that. Le ngaregel here we have to stand up for, there's certain things that we're working together on. One is that Pacific Resilience Facility. Gadiri Cecil Tral Mudra 500 million ukira wa disaster building up climate. We were able to convince Saudi to put up $50 million for that fund. We ukseli mora doro yirel tialuk unlocking blue Pacific prosperity. So se blodda al Pacific ro ko yegid amle convince Bezos to put up the first 100 million. Girel segid al fund which this year they've released the first 37 million on Morigal Blue Pacific. So, those pairs sell, please see it as a Pacific. Because sell the one voice, we have more leverage to get more.
I see.
And that's part of the responsibility that comes in. Kung basta siya to ka trip pa na kala, sila ba to cheer up if, yung malimi sila mo to ka agira der murtri. Because, hindi ka tilbela dom te, ngim tial Pacific adom te rim.
Hindi ko po wise na ma'am.
Hindi ako makukulo na kaleko ra, show mo ka ka story.
Anik sila mesel nga 14 adal miskogi.
Hoy. Ano dahil lulim la kalwi ko ra bisa mga sa kayo kasi Dorael. But yeah, and I think that's some of the things that we need to do better on. Diri kal sila yate alle kadam la adra media ra mungkin nga umrael. But gida diri kan mga sa to ka albang la lablo. Whether budget tira yos ang kita domestic refugees, asylum seekers, whatever we want to call them, trigal adal ambrigel solid center team merablur belaw, and then just we all girel katmok sila olbira kalulaw.
Kami tabora kami the start. Kamad po na budget. Where are we?
So, good news is, nasa throw meeting.
Okay.
You know, the interesting budget lang. Remember kita mesandra budget mo 152 million. Moklo monday matukoy e October Senate 153 million. Alitia ba ilasan?
Ako tatingilun mo 136. No, almost at the end.
Hindi at the end they cut. Alitingil mo 153 hindi timle cut budget the executive branch. That's the one they cut. Recall bil katri. So wabli la police attorney general's office ayam le maklo katan mo rin. So awana toward do sa adri le kadang rabitan sa adra sing important at ora adra sa mangarang it's good they're having a hearing together with the Ministry of Justice. So why would you reduce funding to it or customs for example? Tamlekat tra budget tra customs and already they cut it. Emro ko irma gel bdel udod algira la abilis mangarang. Why would you do that? Komlak Murgido saying important to Adras. We agree with you and that's why we have money. El help ay agency. Tara do el problem and that's why nakaw to tell budget rida addressary sell increase our salary in more other order. Kidam dingil was a people lawyer they need to earn a decent salary. They take care of family sector and one of the biggest challenges we had over the years a minimum wage amle 250 ikadung mo $5. All of those times in the increase ikadawa they increase their sale amount assume 50 cents and everybody gets 50 cents assume 75 everybody gets 75. So what happens adal entry lawyer mungkin makatata lawyer to experience ni adimran mo kayo gyud ududir as a percentage. So one of the things that IMF identified was kami amla compressor tier wage scale. So you have to do a percentage increase across the board. So I know ngari complete say tigel nga ududir nga but you know our doctors, our nurses they need to get paid more. Our police they need to get paid more. Our lawyers need to get paid more if we want to retain people. And you know tell idea was say ududir is good. Sorry, I disagree. We need to help them earn enough so they can take care of their families, whether nga private sector or government sector. Abay gira the stone brewery, bro la subsidies. We have too many subsidies. At PUC, why are we giving out proposal to Senate 5 million in subsidies? Doesn't make sense. By focus ra ang sa ududirarat help pertrial ko tros pe angeso. Abay agreeing lang gila Senate. Kasi selling sul mora ano wala 480, di sa mo $50 mo $600. Good. Ay gila bay gila dal al focus. Ila kung say ngin mga wants more money. So we make sure that concept will qualify atang business ka disqualify. The sell idea say focus target should be how do we lift people up. And you know, kita akmo ni kikatera po do sa other PGST. I'm sorry, asenkyom nombre kala last year. Oye? Tiamle number one al discussion. It's
water
over.
under
It's
the
water
bridge.
under the bridge. Let's focus on how we help people.
Yeah, President.
I'll just give you an example. Makmadura Lieutenant Governor Aguam. Engwasing.
Tenorio.
Engwasing. Albeit kung madri kami override the budget, it reduce a GRT from 5 to 4.5. Engwasing. To reduce the yield by that 0.5%, and guess what? Sell the one do ngali $80 million loss and more revenue ra government. Ese de katalbol affect rangi the price rangi de klaro. That's the reality. So when we do policies, and you know one of the things that you don't understand niya say ay gal betokol economic policies el dorun ay gadim nakadukadi malarak mungir. They're based on sound economic advice. Hey, it may not be something we all agree on, but we try to use the best economists and people to help us chart a path that we hope, say, it can bring everybody up. So, it's unfortunate that Senate adriga still stuck. And I hope I get bon policy, focus on the budget, the budget, and let's focus on those important things that we need to take care of. Pension. We've talked about pension, and they, you know, so pass a law. SS, it's a problem. Pass a law. The budget bill, the reason you don't want to on the budget bill is you don't want to entertain it, but you need to do it sometime. We cannot keep on. Hindi kasi di malmol maldi omal sira ng aligid. Maluba ka damlasa ayel ukilel bring na ng aligid. Ang basta sa tiyong iltokol daruri. So kadang tanta adam regel amla ko ngin maskida 20 million. They've agreed to give us 20 million. So ngel assistant secretary di mo ila tele igara government regel ang flan member ko mo announce merido ase mo sa commission 20 million al grant. Di condition na adam regel ase. Di mem kanyelo ase ngara reform on mora pension. Lakam continue mo susid to kam expect ase kada tiama sa mo. Sa makli.
Russell reform
raise the retirement age or do something. You know, I got simple to but we have to do.
Increase contribution,
those are all options. So we have to. It's age, it's contribution, it's how we calculate the benefits. It has to be a combination of something because if we do nothing, and that's not fair. More so I think some of the things as policymakers, focus you know, I'll just give you some of the things in budget, and I think a budget hopefully gets because we didn't change the law, we get a salary increase. So please approve the budget executive branch. They have to figure out some other things, but let's hopefully it because if they don't, in area time hospital, in area time ambulance, and not it will happen before December 31st. So that's in me. They need to act. You know, but there's other things. Agusperato kasi bela muira Senate because ay kangara tabla Senate and they're not acting. Mas may one example. Maria ADB loan resolution lepas ra House emlora Senate ra March 12. Como se elal silsing ng October. Gida amla misra deadline which is the end of this month and ratify self to. In the meantime, we get all about over 100 million on loan or ADB. O say, or state adringina loan. So, ADB. I mean, these are simple things. Just pass the thing. Because Senator Basilius, what does he need to look at? They had more a Saudi loan. Kaya kada na Saudi although the housing. Same thing. All Senator Basilius na kasi ngarang munguyo, ngarang osigari. Kaya kada review. February 21 or 2025 and Madeira Senate and Meral seals. Why? Ikadamora said a commemorative coin. Kumbaga commemorative coin. Or na to dagay sa mga nang. Hindi, at the end of the day, ikadamang may bring it back to its rightful owner. Tiyamle, the creating the national development, mga kagirel, masukuraw daw dalgirel. Masir kung bali ang la agree say, pero hindi kasi sa past, but we'll give you $1 million to save illusory for the last 7 years. And sa government terbelaw, sa NDBP, which would what would it do? It would give money to NDBP, masir din loan out to help rara. Mangarget, ngara Senate. Since May 9, aling May 9 ang merela. Ikadamora, selmlisi ato radrax, mo dim sa radrax lang mga conference ra rubak, am la identify wa sa gyud smisi ato radrax. Makara. Aling April 22 merelal. Ngara Senate. And you know, kita adiregal kita damna yun kasi igagagrow sa lingok na government. And of course, and require advice and consent. Di kita adiregal kasi give us the benefit of the doubt, the glorio. Mang oy, di mla kalsori ra appointees reader education, di mla kalsori ra appointees reader ang kagidele ambassador at Taiwan, ma finance. Di mla reasons at mla identify wase ngal Ministry of Education, this is why hindi agim approving. Yung maral wase igel tol mildo, abatori alwith. Mga alam is ngel na appointee al correct again information and ask her olbira lulaw for a second reconsideration. Ababiyan amlora Senate a process agiran mora miscellaneous communication, presidential communication ra Senate mora ulale imbu assign na mora committee. Ababiyan de kalbo andira kalbora ayang embe babling represent the Senate kasi hindi gim entertain, hindi gim na entertain. So kadam kara. Mga dekal sorry lang area Ministry of Education, dekal sorry discussion, but we have to go to the process. Kita mla adara Senate. Netalal times Senator Tabulwala amle namdala a Senate. 4 times. Tiadriga ongerul da askara a reconsideration.
Oh, I see.
Ongeru ole marakalep. Udoy. Minister. Ngati ka katam taseng kyori. Oh, tos perselo ase. Ngari 60 days. I'm sorry. That's total nonsense. Triga avoid their self responsibility. Hindi ka sorry. They don't want us to hold them accountable. Gira security. To ba segi dolo martray. Ang kaso kabel blakatak wase. Agi senkyo le tegi da ul. Senkyo. Mal blakatak ra drablo. Hindi alakal blakatak ra drablo, alakal blakatak mortiga. It's not fair. So gira dal di help ray gang. Eka ko to som sa dabil ma production or olbi daglulaw. Mga reporter ko. Aling mo anire tool bills. Agi wasa igi half a bill wana supplemental budget wana continue. Agi giram logger til wase. Let's hold people accountable. One brother sa budget rabek la ade. Already nagkaltmok.
Okay, masumang.
So we have to be clear raigal to.
Also kung hindi ka confirm ra Minister of Education, Minister of Finance. Mutra entre al-Quar. The retainer tier, reappointed tier, ay katablon mal important part of the government. Tabalwala, mention ng tabalwala mo. Hindi bande alam meng clear, membanding meng clear, meng clear. You know, di ngara ko ra usngem ginel selling. Askula man important.
Agong maralo ase. Bastriada chance man bora senkyo. Ler senator sa nakmo kama se sender team me. Melagim sender mo og pebelo asen dia. Le mebol mrega process. But gid omralo ase important post we need people in them. So
Ano ko ra?
I see. Well, President Male, kung mo disappointed aron sa malungil bill di pass di itong okra sa Senate hindi tala kariga talgibul ngora it's kind of a general question Okay, so United States after 250 years el araga Donald Trump amle create a sovereign wealth fund ramigil for the first time after 250 years Philippines had their sovereign wealth fund last year. Kita mengalik mo si Singapore, sil Temasek is one of the responsibility tira ngara development travel wurir. They have the capital to do it. Manggida other belaw akum das will in order for us to have a more control or a means of production. Itigidal sovereign fund in my own opinion at mal critical issue gila dal ngarngirgit. Abela sa edel mo on a bank, maybe airline, agel makloluk mas strategic asset travelur bela. Mung raw sa mertiang ek kora tribal warrior book kora senate tribal pag okra bebule la kangaral. Marulan ding ngara pinir ka tigdul daswa.
Well, this was a first part of the process. I think that's That's the most important part of the process. Kida normal say if you have good systems in place, ay kasi magat mo. Acting example, alia Fiji namotela kura governmentary and unstable. But I was there in Fiji. I went to an investment conference at EU. Sel denara, ang area Sheraton, ang area Accor, selo emro, and there's a Westin going up. There's a Marriott, there's an Intercontinental Hotel, there's a golf course by BJC. And guess what? All of those are owned by Fiji Provident Fund.
Kaya sovereign fund tir.
Yeah, it's still retirement fund.
I say. Oh, okay.
Hindi wa tial SSR yun mga pension. That's so they take their money and in fact takmo na kasi hindi kasi der investor yun bela ali triga ba imla mo wala ba yelo dir invest sa gid Pacific agel digit invest.
Ona skogi,
ngare skogi. So it's not tial mo sa ni adekal البس الداسو already قال بيبي رابلا املا planning that's exactly say labro Singapore
Even FSM na more ngirtir.
yeah so one of the challenges that we've had and that's why we've tried to do things like have deposits sa development bank create a savings bond ay nga gida ngel doctoration na sa hotel ito problem yo 400 million ang ara savings sa kamiyo e nga imo rablo kami abay ang ko rablo rambriga ang ko rablo yo. You need to figure out how to bring the money back and use it to develop problem. So, akmal kung yelo bangyamen, you know, I'll share another story. Kita blol ahead and more behind. So, aknara just recently, mlagi na kan mo meeting at IMF, lagi da Minister of Finance, lagi mo meeting at IMF, but no dekat sa kalmoleng Prime Minister am lartiang, so I thought that was more important. Makita ba am lolom tirit. Di ako invitation na David Paul, kumula David Paul. Marshall Islands Minister.
Yes.
Kasi kamera ko solo mukha ko ran. Nga mal sender tiari kasi. President mal so commercial event ko. Mal mo kasi launching ra Marshall Islands stablecoin. Ali, kita mil sa ira 3 years ago. A partner labangela. If you look at
XRP.
Ripple, XRP, na take off.
I say.
Gadamle ahead, ela kada behind, I'm not with it. Pero mukblataraw das mulo IT and try to go to another one. But as long as kadangara conspiracy theory di das wa hit, and then I said the man di kayo tamten merio. We need to open our minds and say, if you have systems in place, if you help each other, you can bring each other up. Akmana say, you know, one of the issues kadangal tangat in the pastel digital residency program. Ilal since nakalektra over $8 million. Akmana say natara issue ra adara olbil ta complain no say. Ngaram kada pera legal fee ra Jay Anson era digital residency program. We have to defend our program.
Sure.
And if it costs us $200,000 to defend for $8 million, business.
It's worth the money.
That's a good margin. That's still a 90% return.
It's good investment.
So we have to think in those terms. Hindi kita a problem. So the orang sila mo matakta.
Oh, good.
Oh, dia ele tiga drol bila. That's the tiga kasi nguk na to dang irmal. Magigit. We better be careful. Mga di madakte, mga langalak.
Alas del Kausischakl topic ramama amle trust. You need some time to trust, especially United States government. El triagi dele mergortiagi dele asylum seekers. Ligida di pumedia ka trust tergidra atigal partners tergid. So it becomes a snowball effect. Di mo dia ka trust anyone, even ourselves. Nice. It's a tough challenge, President. I can see.
So that's why I'm close to Trigal Shore because it gives us an opportunity to share because and there's a lot of misinformation.
I see.
Atara ako ta problem kau di bus. Al sukuma mereda na pladi di bus mo ko buhi sa ngal mo ka kwamba.
Diab ireng ngawa lo siga SLM.
Moral e ko me around mo kau ko bra.
Sulang. No, I realize that. Give that opportunity. Then close to it. Tial refugee, asylum seeker, whatever you want to call it. Until ablu ramrigel, mergid rase. Allah rablu ramrigel. Amal lagatakla. Suma ada merablu mam lo siga asylum. Hindi kalsam lo tabdin morme. Siya Allah rablu ramrigel. Majaspe angya surgamiu. Kasi hindi kami mititira bibir tigalad. Lensom lo otil le under Allah ramrigel. Under UN conventions. And sila tabdin moratarablu. That's safe. This is most important to mga ramrigel a demonstrate rasi at sum kung netura blue ramrigel and follow Allah blue ramrigel mung tadilor gid rasi kami asi ilo ayer rogul conditional somiu esi ilo asay etriya ekama mas kami alist kami di sa kami la artiran dia
ma do dir kamera
do adir kamera ngari working group florio ngari arum tera rubul bela ngari arum tera house ngari arum tera Basil Belao, eleng mga governors, mga speakers, are electors. Ito ka tumura sa tiya, it's a community thing. Kita, ang pinag sa alul Belao, elal tayo, masaya mula radang udol blun may. Kahal, so mga darabang lada, siya ka di ba ungun meraklo. Matirigam siya damla tiraklo, hindi mula rin siya ko ay dero kasi. Tiya ko rab, eslul das, may madolitari niya do siga. Hindi, of course, radang senat tala orang sa kong, tuk na di siya kasi, hindi may ko ra meeting. Hindi ako kasi, kung may ask na meeting, I refuse na meeting.
Hindi ako, along rin ka kasi. Tiyam na ginin men magkakaroon ng ada tu ginin. Ako, men di mo rin ako lum gutom kay mo sambora. Mo alam rin ko si spela ano nga mo basal rin.
Kilog nilo sel eguk play e movement ra President Johnson. Sel may Uyghurs, hindi mo consult ra ibudol maraklay all to tir. So I mean, sometimes the president when you get too many opinions and they want up being negative. Itelo me sa social media di negative. So even though kada ma awngil kalon misti adrablu and there's always a factional mal vocal. I don't know. If I were you, I'd say, hey, bring them in. Adang yaw already maratir.
Well, el time 375. Matala mo mir tira state tiyan na mo so tanamo commander sen tal state tamlay mata.
Yan ang euro kasi bes kumamadro ko misil 7.5.
There's 120 workers at Takmor all time.
Exactly.
Nakadiri kin martele Marriott project tel ngara ngarkubsang. And there's like over 100 Africans who are saying. And they more crime there sang. I don't know. I'm not afraid of foreigners, you know.
No, I get a process of them. It's the best process to go through. I say, the plan me uri. Tiga dik mer de more ngani ajaberti. Hindi. We have enough money and so many problem mertir. Charter skogi or duro korti more me. That's.
Hindi ako penny for recruitment
well, that's the plan. Sige da kora proposal gida more a system. Gida mula condition gida man sambre gida sa tida mum follow. Ma part ra ngal sel working group o to badagal condition ro.
The Mr. Resume trial ad.
Exactly. Maybe there'll be a doctor like Tony Nicolescu.
I see.
You know, we don't know what's going to be on the list, but we want to look. They make sure, for example, alingel superintendent tra school ra Iowa o minsan dia. Ngoba PhD in education mangam nombre tra school ra Iowa. Etem tigring was nga lababo es ma takaning adam. Tamna tabdi. Important. So, US will give us all the information they have on these people. So we can make sure that they're safe. You know, one of the things Brigela, I say, come at some ruling it to Tomlia Blue, Beloma Blue, Brigela Maltobet Saddle William. Trian El Salvador, the Albura Eswatini, totally different.
You got asylum seekers.
Basically, yeah, sige da. So, Dimla kalaya kala al purang Brigel, this is the declare asylum. I say.
And most typical asylum seekers are ultimately legal. A lot of time in either economic migrants or maybe there's a threat to their lives. But a lot of them ultimately legal and they can take a chance because they have skills to sell. They have marketable skills. So I'm pretty sure a lot of them that at least they have skills that we could use.
Adol tira kala rubi yun, hindi ako I say.
Oh, yok masader tiyali mara bro. Aro biyo tim nakala sader tiyal merigit. Masader tiyal bel sentir tim ma Sudan ma El Salvador.
Tunggu tiga mau ini kaya kal presidente kita mau kita sulit ayo.
President nga niya,
Yeah, Landa was here, so I got question bel askira airport sa gimit na adro bilam na sa bukul belaw. Everybody was there to ask him questions.
nga rin imo na tol, di na all bring in met yan. I got board and commission sa government. They delay project as if they're own. Nga rin siya mga lagi. For example, nga rin self-SL diagram, to the regulations in Gila business license. Minumove to Officer Attorney General, Morcel, FIC.
Same like speed up process.
Oo, yung mga lukro siya 3 days. After submit a kulto ko in 3 days, I just witnessed the application retirees, NGO, 6 weeks, 3 weeks. Because adim na kalame hindi ka quorum just rule out makamos meera.
More than what? Say they require the board approval.
Malumin di kaliwi maaran ding from 3 days to 3 weeks.
Okay.
That's when they just come up with an excuses. Nga raw das way man so magdamoy taga rule board da kabil da kami agencies ibay murulay ka.
No, di check mark masumay iyo.
Instead of board tigal board da nga baby raw rerir. Temora marmorger mundial mera meeting ama.
So
It's been a problem for a long time.
FIC, Mr. Approval Corporation, should not be a board requirement. So, Landi, we need to verify selling. That's my understanding. Awula ka na may lubting yung office ra AG, matiyan mesani nga president.
Why say?
Let's all speed up.
I understand this. Mal ukra, email until was in 3 days.
India, tigida work will ISIS. Tigil other India le apply a corporate charity tier. It'll go through FIC and it came out on time. Hindi guk tiya gidele FIB am lo tigil slow. To reject it, so we asked them to come back, appeal, and the appeal at temle approve it. I think imle isura temle madak 3% accreditation. Kaya mo say we are accredited medical school. Sige din yam lo ngila to koy. So I think it's getting better.
Yeah, and some of these things are tell first application or medical school mervelo.
I see.
So sometimes we have to do some extra due diligence.
Yeah.
Diya ka, ang with ang aboard the mga commissions are just playing this game, the wall clock clear.
Giral clear was a check mark, namungin, okay, approve.
Exactly.
Hindi ka giral was a tika madal, adal.
Tika klam dalel.
The process should be transparent. And there is some merit to that. Of course, kita proposal Allah was a namotam dungo EQPB mo under ministry ng nga Bureau of Environment.
I see.
Naman di ka di ay ga already na you don't need a board. Check mark, it's done. Okay, move on. Of course all bila likes board. So kabe gidra ka mo other all bill gidra but that's one of the things. There kan na idea gid was maybe namotam FIB dire ka part of business license process ay get the requirements. Check mark, it's done.
Okay. They would tell so, 4 seasons, President. It's taking so long. Akma said, 4 seasons, when they invest their money in a destination, hindi akal mel, tomelia environment, tomelia shovartir. They're there to protect the environment because it protects their business. The other ngari mas hindi ka tiga mem naman environment. Is the opposite. Tabay mel protect the environment lang. Mugira business tir.
Yeah, almel mamrur agora factory kada kasi hotel amot tumle. Distriga mel their whole market a tourist. El degal dil kanta al tourist el sual mo tererur terara. Atal gasus. Da single tourist ngong el wasa sura talmal ramdala hotel kirsel $200,000 a night. I don't think so.
Press may.
Tiyak ko adi common sense.
Exactly. Wala ka debat me one more question President, tingela partner mo marangagi dele ikambesak mo wasi. Tial bulwada na muab elevantra al sel. Di kita merur gitu loh dia desang. Ngar alevante president is People's Republic of China. They are the biggest source of tourists and they are the biggest now investors. Ayel tabal hotel umreka clear. Ngayon lamay maiwan issue masi gal presenter mi galel anti-Chinese. Come explain it tell mo adra blue balod ngay.
I think we're anti-illegal activity. We're anti-corruption. I get that anti. Kita welcome arbek laan.
Good.
Oh.
Alumni.
Hindi ka tolerate. And you know, that's why I have no problem. Alam mo kasi China is weaponizing tourism. We're already at war. Why? To weaponize that tourism. By stopping tourists because of our relationship. Or, kada namin sa cyber attacks, ngari aling ganyan mora, amen man. And I think the best way to prevent those things from happening is to call it out. And then yung may model happen.
What about?
So ila kung may bay na increase the number of tourists. Adam nem dak to kasi ay tingin ako lang bay reduce. Ano may na increase. But anyway, so another.
Tingin ko na while the suggestion of president.
We want good tourists. They care about the environment. They can destroy rabulu. They can lorula illegal activity. Akmal di remember sila pigra tourist in Merbela. El bara Palau vacation hotel el open na ice box ay mura ka muduk lumamamal. We shouldn't tolerate that kind of activity. We have a pristine paradise. Treat it that way.
I see. Tida follow up. Malmring rigida open a trade relationship with them, knowing that Taiwan ada diplomatic tirma United States, and they have trade office all over the world, including Guam and United States, and they have no diplomatic tie. So can we do the same thing in vice versa? Adang mal makitra pala sirkaw.
Hindi kasi di kasto bertin meruri. Our tourist in Palau is trade. Ma kalau the important merablo bela di ngara. Martoria di kam ngara sinan mere laltan.
Okay. So I clarify.
Abay important tergira de nombre seria kasi. Ngara igel bebera kalau nga sinan mere ira dan man moil absurd ma movement teri lele abay to attract sa sector. And you know, I forgot to tell you about the other thing in UAE. So I was at the UNGA and I saw, of course, Razan Miguel, special envoy inauguration. At Tekmurgid was saying, one of the things in UAE are mal advanced in is artificial intelligence, ma security. So I say, most important el tol la development travel, security has to be girera other merablo safe. Ikaw makira duro terrorist, ngira make sure lo ase tirada me atmura bluma mangara background tir nga ngase kama maula bluma ma require a visa for everybody. We pre-clear. E ngase awula gi pre-clear. Ayos pe AI. Kung son sara dom. Ayos pe AI chegara a background nga la other murtriya miskama idea lo singgang safe albera bluma mandia. That's our process. We have to process 150 million and we're going to go to 240 million. We don't have enough people in our population to take care of these people. So we have to use technology and help program. I was saying mostly important for us, tiyak mablura tourist. And so I'm saying me aden di smile, and mating rasko yes smile and maray. Mo say ngel president kama da say al suma ada check in to dramlara kula curbside. El Mora Gate, it shouldn't take him more than 12 minutes. They want you there 2 hours ahead of time. TSA, you know. Kasi kung club lumam, hindi ka somal ways. Somal, mre da other. Materiam na malimis na modernized. So they already have lines ilbong, hindi ka makloklem. Kasi mo nga siya singar ka atorang game, ang X-ray, namray. That takes 1 minute. Kamura immigration, scan na madam, kamera multo rabita. Kamura tel oigale torngem batachega. Was ngarang al sela klok. Ayibong ngadi one lal or ayga tolle naya angari di kala masara X-ray machine. Ga o masara ades male igual ora helper arab. Ndi ngari adan arbabel ngara imora room al monitor ayga rogo. Misaliga kuna se mumchegar segidel. Al bag. Yung sa igarokul baggage marogoya it's tied to a person. Leselo mom chegi na clocklem. E ora mga siya singar ka lo mong giratorong game. Hindi kasi dinar sa ndekal clocklem. And then I say we use AI, analyze, I got role baggage and so is for Ablura Abluma. Why? I can tingin nyo sa ngal adlo mes. Nga mom sulaw le. Amo te kaduin mes sangarang kita liwel whatever. I got problem ron. May gospera AI help pringil and make sure ang madami aklan. Dati he showed me pictures. Nania pin cellular parado may nania marijuana nania build them. Teleporta processes 10,000 people an hour or average 100,000 people a day. Ese lobo, kaya ko natin bdedas. Let us say, we want you to feel at peace. Let's say, you feel at peace lang. Wadak sel, sega ma. Anyway, different philosophy.
Nga nga ba ikan sure na nakatila lagi the subject mo sa ni. A foreigner apply and may invest out there. So he go through our process and mo top the rapitan wala sinjani. 6 months later, ako declaring il undesirable. Baka na kang improve the process, hindi ka go through ringi. The put our mind and assets into it, at the end of the day, kakadari criminal. Kada makarang stop sa gida, kita mamuabula. Ito may damlam katkat. Inga di ka lutel may. Claim luwa si Akil application na kalego at mas ka 6 weeks pera fee all the process nga books. Kamu kana improve say malakalbod albang ala way gidel to.
Well, one of the things through this IT system is having Interpol connected to the system. That's one of the things that we're trying to improve. Through different intelligence sources, we're narrowing down or say that gap and may add them as a criminal. So that make sure first of all they are system. And I think that next year that require a visa. We don't have to charge people, but require some kind of clearance before they come. That will help us at processing and gathering all the background information on them. So
al criminal gida bay abul. Dagito mi obla al criminal. Mula makatkata atume de yung false hope. Day later ngakadari ta ngari adam la convince gid wasya akluwa mal prosperity. Mang sige daw ngunit wasya.
Well, you can look at it two ways. Kadiri kala se bereng gela da ang ilo atmel lo trur Bay ang atira el motor, mas mo daw dala ang motor, el motor. But anyway,
that's a moral issue.
Volvo makto to teto. Kaya nga kare president.
Yes.
O dala sa kalbus. Namo second time in 2 years. Ay kali. Kamakara. Ay kan tenda sa promo na gamakama. Kaya gidel. Ay kalamalam na to para oral na. Laba pasundang lo terrorist araat marumos araat wala ba kung kisyo may ka tilgim lo to ka lo nga sire ng tanarin na social media blue material
kita dengan saya egal problem with us that egal basic problem. We've gone through cycles and these are problems that we've always had and probably will continue to have. Abay ko to trase ngaray doru malasam lamro malubo dol no son sa yarto. So one of the things they'll tell us, of course, during COVID, and they flight in Marablur vela. Partly hindi lang tipo no son sa udo. Elang two things are happening. Mabto our tourist, mabto our flight, mabto our other more travel. Material other try akala say this is a good money maker. That I get challenge. So I get the focusing say makarang the stopper tiagidel sisabelen. So one of the things that we started a couple years ago, started drug tester our police. We've unfortunately 10% of our police officers have blood asker team bol merkalo. Ilang tadam dayon say apart from na adi selablit. We also know say within customs I got sisablela klalo blue and we have to have people in our position see Laura rated with integrity. But we also have to make sure that we pay them properly. So gira da mas tial rungol siasi. Gira da dire kan make sure wasing al am sisi ya other tauta galla ay naflor tauta galla. You know, and that's why it was so important last year was en mgadada tial el dobal per la el age gadra sengosong sa imakal mrur tial urio. So elang she has people because we've raised salaries and we brought people in. Now the question was, and was adi teral buil mudakal budgetary mudakal said muklaurel, but that's a different issue. Hopefully,
I mean, it should be like 12 or 15.
Ya tirlam titul adralla. Tikuk mal takma.
Oh, well, I think yeah, but those are the issues that we're trying to build up. You know, got a separate issue, but you know, one of the things that gatatal order magila blue nam regel giren say no to send bebera FBI mem sendera DN me al talme takmuda se ndi tedi advisor makase no nga esperado lo order de esperado advisor tia di no krobis se ngin mogara well ngari am lame o klamrael so FBI has been in and out. We don't know if we have a current there.
We want to ask you a few questions about all that money coming to your account. They're all for lease. A good thing I had all the lease agreement.
Yeah.
You're not in trouble. Thank you.
So one of the things that we need to build up a capacity. We pay more money. Maybe or ex-FBI or DA agents that we can hire and put them in bed them and partara operational gidra ablur vela. Amregal under sigil one of the things that dilurtira tia mulmon problem to say okay, we'll allocate 2 million for sigil purpose. Tial asylum seekers, it's already been talked about. Adire proposing 6 million additional udo pension because we had identified there was they need 26 million to move people from a defined benefit plan to a defined contribution. So we continue to find every way we can. Limitation, but that doesn't stop us from asking from help from different places. So, stop radimen. I mean, stop racism. Stop saying. And the way we do that, of course, help people make a choice. And then we have to help the schools and make sure MCC or school that's a continuous process. Malungila rubul belam na to de conduct conference tir matamora igal bulu rere aurora mkena igal bulu eradicate the problem al salabulu. I mean this has to be a whole of community. They can't say the Ministry of Justice alone. They can't say the customs alone. It has to be all of us.
I mean, as a practical matter, somos aurora. Problem of police. Hindi kami Minister of the testify was. Dito wa security abla rules. Mangkartikal talat. Something is not right. Tumulko igang hindi gawa sila. Kung wala bang ra, hindi mo masa al disitiran mo mangkarra.
Opening at time and the national government made 200 vacancy. It has to apply. Mabay the next question ba ito? Sa mo harada Bangladesh mo police? I mean, these are serious questions that we have to start entertaining. There's nobody applying in Mobulis. That's one of our biggest challenges. I give ask us mo mra apply.
That's the question.
So, and so one of the solutions has been okay, let's raise the salaries another 10%. And we need to do more.
Alas na lang at yang kada mlekan sunod kita out migration. Where are we now? Kadam na slow it down, at hindi ka kahit top darang alkilbay now.
No matter what, migration will always happen. So, kita amla rulit para seguido ase. Ngarayel si eder remove, el help para ngarayel matemo samre ngarabulwa. Of course, one of the things and so that make sure and but to opportunity mo na school, less apercir man si better tirar mutul me. Ongerong and so that make sure ngari ang wilu ro tiar ngil awdo dri mal met samre al mutul mera bulwa. What encourages me, of course, I have an example, but they are coming back. And that's a good thing, and we should encourage them. And they need things like housing. And that's why they need jobs. Well, we have 200 vacancies at the government, but if the salaries are too low, it's hard for them to come back. Bulis Hawaii, Makwam, Masaybal, Adang. They starting 50,000, 60,000 a year. Kada ready? Naka ready? Bodol nga sir. Di abon di 10% ta senen tamom di drang la se hal tiamal kada makara solve I got problem ri kita so they can change our mentality dilo se. We need to move forward and upward. Kada all dibigik. And I'll give you one example. Kada masadara at tell you sang ang gito sa mga song saudo. Mga song saudo dal to the budget ng uklora budget blood proposing. I guess and the difference was what's a priority. Naka malumra say let's pay the people well, let's take care of them and say help bring everybody up. So kada kumuda ka di mo taktaratra Senate matamo pagyo because as leaders we have to make sometimes we have to make tough decisions.
So di mo madatira ba kasi sa mga ulo.
Di ka karulat tin mo mga mura ba mo madatilo bro. Mga helper tin mo understand as it's okay to take a risk.
Ngaram press conference ka kadi
No, mo da hold back. We just need to talk about the truth and about solving problems.
So tara udasul kora follow up tel tigin out migration. Ngayon other people urtir ng outside like mase kama willing to pay a voter's tax and that money will go to offset the expense ra election el mera outside like kama man mo butokon nga outside magina mo stat effect ra politics kumira inside hindi ka bilateral la president mo stat el malawdo tigal mal butokon nga outside
mo sa makadrol bil.
Sometimes you need to take action,
benefit tiger sector outside.
Ali kita nasana tablola edi budget bill. And that's one of the responsibilities of Olvira Galulo. Tiga the expected executive branch and blue sarogula lo misteria tilapas. They need to also take problem, come up with laws to solve these kinds of issues. I was talking to Geradira Estonian Nartele, we tested and gele life fine, gele mospe a light that communicate underwater. Geradira Estonia, my friend, Prime Minister Estonia, Kamam, we do online voting using the blockchain. They already do it.
I think it's
Silicon Valley Dominion Uncle, they're doing it right now, online voting.
So what does that take?
Law.
Olvira Kalulaw.
I see.
Start thinking. Bom subi. Siapa kalau mau Estonian study ni bom dengan liame. A problem tu sada trip na kada by top the moment table open all the stream. Maka pa isida pa. Because that's how you learn.
I see.
That's the only way we're going to progress as a nation. You have, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Same lo masagel already existing and may modify rulin mo. Tial digital residency. Tiam na concept Estonia. Ikaw mo may adapterin. So, bato ka ngilul da so. Ding dire kal gilir to da rol. Bile mark lo budget almost $8 million. That's more than 200,000 each congressman. More than enough. El to do mo sub. Awala ka di mre adra se telal spending a trip taman mo black mo tedi ulo.
Ilan iksiduk mo tara senator may grilling it tiang.
Yan kasi mo komptable. Go learn. Apart nga aliwa girin mo so.
Ito mo invite ra senator si LA ko at spokesman ng Miami. Ito mo malang bating na presidente ng kagilo.
Yan ka ukmira next.
Oo.
Sang healthy debate. Nga mal Mr. Selte alam ko mara. Pero I don't say mga senate debate. Alam mal di nga kal debate pa self.
Di ako presidente kamisaula. Ya temeda kung dasyon. Di ko to katemeda di kadira ko masanga. Kadam lawrit sa bibira subject mi sa bedel touch. Detail program ra ko sa aklangan nga partner ngin dorgir ngin wase. Bisibus.
Bisibus, akabes.
Okay.
Ela tira mo kono. Like
Di ka mulikoy kel so mulikoy for 3 minutes. For 3 minutes. Imo melek ang Mo Jackson ang Mo Moses and I will. Ngidil so subject. Di ka uninterrupted.
Dia waktu nga maldi mereka sulin kerte allen mertiam kada dugiyad mar atrablo egida ulen close to trela egal meeting ay malum discussion tiablo wada rogo mungire da loreng sa akaro sulul da so e man memel bodo o sigir sel kotrungin ral gidera makpana sulil rubakal al blol hosta egal akaro sel show sia mokte garin mang of course nga legal defender position na nga level defender position na ko egito sigir sel ko truin nga mase hindi na kato sa sel ko to cloud to trail sel ko truin mura after kala sea ne motor gidra dulmul lo se ako tar adre bela edria kar change merela mang sel ko to me whether for example on PGST because it's still a topic akmo malbod bringa se ngrasel ko truin gira other belo so for example if I want to eliminate the PGST ra dengi ese ngara ngosui oi ngosui ra other belo ding ngosui ra klol gombali ngosui ra tourist why would we do that also mane audo them help bring other belo en idil by to do raswalo em momiri digida embrace do the other belo morbo that's Gagaro's philosophy how to address the problems. But that's how I look at it.
Sure.
Ablo all focus on kasi magra number one emongir other bela. That's number one. Kita welcome our investor important and mergit. Hindi mal de kablo ko leber bela ela contribute mura tagal talbo. Agureng certificate ati man mangarba pa PGST mangarba pa hotel room tax man merigir mama. Get on bengseng amne tingin mo rakabno ro rak mo na mas ak puro mam nase ye ala ingan amna ase close ay nalchang kal hotel ablur belaw mal diri ka tamal asko ase mridu sa taxen mera akong balir mal diri ka so segi ta gira mo doni ane uchira balwat and make sure gadamra sel girel blinglet من سيادل قط مقل تري adar belaw المو ngil basrin mo sil tekera familiarti emong ilaklar na kita other belo esen mo sa ang sa police marogoy of course one of the things that we need to be able to do is have funding lugot mo klay lalo hindi kasi ang lakat trabitang eksportasyon nga daw lugot mo klay lalo they all work together so maral di mo nga suliw rateal madrug to kasos
okay tigda presidente of course, you got an MBA, so you understand what management is. It falls into two categories, strategic and housekeeping. Ako may sagawa mal sa housekeeping lang, igal bill di sa Senate. Active, plant this in your mind, that must say, if you can find the budget somewhere, hire a PhD economist, specialized in development of third world countries, may. Independent adal trigib advisor Senate ma House padirek adra blul el invest talbulu len priority below is to bring the GDP higher and bring the standard of living of people higher, but it's all driven by economics. So why don't we bring an economist to help the country make some economic decisions?
So
put on your head
alak respond and mortila kita ko tangat en area economic advisory group pergi تيال بالفندرين عبلور أمريكان جان كينيث كالبريغ chairman يجي دم دغني هذا مال الفيموس الإيكونومي sorry نجا دخل جان نجا هذا مال Ngal artia Jamie James Calbright.
John Kenneth ang gilmertera temerwat
Nga famous economist traveler American a lot time. Eka mura Shabal, engel hotel brali sel economist Shabal Dr. Yoshino. Advisor agit. Emro ko mura Hawaii, engel chairman economics department UH emle chancellor of one time University of Hawaii. Mga advisor agit. Eka mura Peter Watson. Peter Watson advisor agit emle head DFC, company DFC, Development Finance Corporation. Tirga already in-house, Marcena tam naman matamadurti. Then you have ADB, you have IMF. There is so much resources out there.
Are they speaking to the wrong deaf ears?
Maybe. Sometimes, so, important Surang, I'll bring it up, because I think important resource is there. I don't think we're tapping into it. Sel Boliatas hindi kaya adi advisor president, I don't know. Hindi man lang ilalas ng economic advisory group, tingin mo senat mo tamle ask tira question. But they can also task them no say bas kama ideal gira lang na, bas kama ideal gira lang na. And they'll do it. Ting advisor again.
Right. Kabo mo sis.
President,
Sulang I'll help us the discussion and bring it. Ito kalau orang free.
Oh, free. Very good.
They are oil let's say gaming, stable coin,
Medical cannabis.
Medical cannabis. Kurang mal to kay kang kira kira ako kachu mal milter ruwa kira umro la ngigel mambay ka. Kada pati mulko ya ministry ka ora MEFA potengario yo sangaringi over 1 million like a local ministry. Ikaw emal umra turist maomunet o masers. Ikaw lutas mo ikaw edera ka meder ka. So mo kau ya captain na bilas lang mo.
Kau ba lightning hours and now get him interview president.
Siya lightning hours.
Yung Bukod
Okay.
tulul mo das beringi.
Bere makata sulang, makata mo uriol girel. Hindi, of course, bike maklong es ulme sois will help pergi draiga. Abai girel lo help other belar mo understand sa aiga show bai. We need entrepreneurs that are willing to work. They're not sustainable. Asum gadi or top da grant and help pertir. It will never succeed.
I see.
We need to help them develop strong business models so they can be sustainable. So, sige tadi, yeah, sudah.
President Kamasaul, I think tell me an hour and some minutes later, Mamleng Will conversation. They say that program Mamleng Will Kausischakl.
I see.
Why si Marado Bululureng Sergida. Sometimes it expect us, boom tough on him. Di ko mas, this is better conversation than ever. Tang okla na doon mes ay kilkuk plan role. Marado ba mo understand ro kasi. Ngarap plan sir ka ngaram ko all di maliliwek na lulat. Continue mo roll and we'll see you later.
Oh, di ko ay surase. Alak mo rasya bal.
Oh. Mas congratulations ro ka ora alamo chairperson ra PIF. On PIF.
Pif.
Oh, you can albuto mo isang di.
The self-force flight meron October 29 is fully booked.
Wow.
Nice. And you know, saya kada mo tatal mga girl self-flight Shabal. Finally it's happening.
October 31st.
29.
Yang ako
Akmong hopefully gonna meet Prime Minister at sumpa tabla determined kasi ilang clue and then first flight in May. So
O so ko mo flight me.
nga ako ang pero mo today tell TMC TV bringa sulit. Akora unum das wasi kumasamang blow limited at temem di kakora man relax ala afternoon mi igit ang ada doom kamsaw ra temem wish you the best. Silbuk pala kami masang itian bla di open el girem ra bektaen.
the amiga girl ang girl schedule quarterly.
Exactly.
Correlate. Ugmen mo ka
Oh, ilang amal, maybe the time mo mamaltam di mantan mo kautok-tok. We need somebody in the crowd. Nga ba?
Beto ka happening mong marali ka dal.
I see.
But overall, I press we're happy with the Republic and you're doing a good job so far. So keep it up.
Oh. Hala di last.
Okay.
Since ang artiang marsal printa trulo. Ngaral barak sa ngara koksal lo ngaral adan mururi. Sa ngabe trulo di kamera. Kamla mo kamlan mo kamesing under repair berak sa kamlan mubra adan mo se.
Gora nga lagi ng TV ba si Papa. Tamarang mata AI.
Yeah.
So kata kaya siya. So
Mamsulang,
mga instead of di mrula trulo magora singa na kaya takla toy. Ito bora fact. Oh. But anyway.
Brita potra video mo ya ati wala.
Saya Kausischakl afternoon no kaman sa tune in. Yung continue learning siringi gi-extend ra invitation and mora. Mr. President, ngidil time mo we'll have the same conversation then. May ika ko man sulang next time.
Next.